One of the things that makes Tablas so important is that they really have a sense of place and they have a sense of style that originates in France.
I saw that the Perrons and Bob Haas were seriously thinking about coming to the areas. Hosanna, this is great.
A big-time producer of some of the best Rhones in the world could go anywhere, and they're looking at right here in our backyard.
What he was right about, of course, was that Rhone varieties had a home here.
We were growing grapes that people didn't know and couldn't pronounce. We were doing this in a place they hadn't heard of, and we were blending them into wines with French names that didn't mean anything.
People were surprised when Tablas Creek released all these grapevines to the community, and their thing was always, hey, we need everybody to have this great material because if we're all better, we all benefit.
Les premiers Rhone Rangers, les Bob Lindquist, les Edmund St. John's, les Ranagram, c'était les garages, quoi.
My chapter on Tablas Creek in the book is called The Validator, and that really is one of Tablas's most important and lasting roles, to validate it in exactly the same way that Domaine Drouhin validated Oregon Pinot Noir exploration in the Willamette Valley, and in much the same way that Opus did the same in the Napa Valley.
I was at Wild Horse in '91, and I remember hearing that this had been bought, and the reaction, people were like, what? French people buying land in Paso Robles? What are they thinking?
Yeah.
And you must remember that.
Right? Oh yeah, it was the talk of the town.
It was. And then they said they're going to farm organically. That was the next thing, and everyone was like, they're crazy. That's never going to work. In those days, Paso Robles whites, fat Chardonnay.
Yeah.
That was about it, and some sweet Chenin Blanc was all obsessed. So when they came with Grenache Blanc and Picpoul Blanc and Roussanne, it changed the picture.
Back then, I imagined it happening much slower than it actually has happened, you know. Now, it's 200 and some wineries and all that. It's like...
And most of those 200 are doing a Rhone something.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm not surprised it happened, but yeah, it was something that I never even comprehended that things could explode that much.
Being out there in restaurants, and there's a category for Rhone blends, or which I remember in the early days of Tablas, there was not. So you were significant
other reds,
other wines. Yeah.
What happened here not only really put Paso Robles on the map, but it brought a coalescence of the Rhones. I don't think it would have happened without Bob and the Perrons making the commitment to what they did here.
They have established Paso as a Rhone region. It's always held to the principles that were established by the Perrin family and by Bob's interpretation of the Perrins' philosophy of winemaking. And I think that that is extremely important to serve as a benchmark for the rest of the state.
It's still kind of in its infancy, really, when you think about it. You know, you think about a 30-year, which seems like a long time, but that in wine speak, that's really not a long time.
Mm-hmm. It's right at the age at which the French start taking their grapevine seriously.
Right.
I have immense respect for is their sticking to their guns when in the early days, John will remember, you should just make Syrah and Viognier because nobody knows what all these varieties are.
Right.
This year I will put Muscadin in the ground, which is the last of the 13.
Fabulous.
Really, really appropriate for the 30th anniversary. Cheers to Bob.
Cheers to Bob,
Thank you, Bob,
absolutely.
for all that you did.
Bon, au bout du compte, il y avait deux hommes avec beaucoup d'idéal qui sont partis à l'aventure et puis jamais arrêter.